Hello everybody. India is all set to send out multi-party delegations to explain India's point of view vis-a-vis Pakistan, specifically on Operation Sindoor. And leading one of those important delegations is Jay Panda, BJP MP and party's national vice president, who is going to Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Algeria and a couple of other countries. Mr. Panda, how do you see the significance of this diplomatic exercise, specifically with regard to Saudi Arabia? Because this is the part of the world that the Prime Minister has worked really hard on to increase our outreach. It's an important country when it comes to bilateral relations, trade, and also their influence on geopolitics and Islamic nations. How do you signify the importance of this outreach?
This is a very important part of an ongoing reset. You know, we've been suffering from cross-border terrorism sponsored by Pakistan for now nearly 80 years. The world is against terrorism, and everybody knows that Pakistan is the epicenter of terror. I mean, it's not just India. If you look at 9/11, if you look at attacks in UK and other places, they all know that. But the fact is that while we are continually facing the brunt of these perfidies by Pakistan, other nations may not have that level of bandwidth because, you know, they have other issues going on. There's a war in Europe. There's a war in Middle East. There is a trade reset that's happening all over the world. Now, what has happened is this new normal that has been defined by the Modi government has a military component to it. And now Pakistan, especially its army, has been made to pay a very costly price. There is a reset in the perspective of how people look at it. So, for example, Pakistan's nuclear blackmail. In a series of events, starting from the surgical strikes, then with Balakot airstrike, and now this time, the Modi government has redefined and has made it very clear that, you know, there is a very big distance between retaliating and going anywhere near the nuclear threshold, and Pakistan must be made to pay that price. So that has been reset. But modern conflicts are not just about the battlefield, it's also about the narrative. And so while the Prime Minister himself has done a phenomenal job for more than a decade, he has tirelessly slogged, gone to dozens of countries, built rapport with the top leadership of all the major countries. This needs to be now taken forward further.
Right.
And so these delegations that are going out, are multi-party. And also we have not just politicians, but all domain experts, like in the team that I'm going on. There is, you know, there are very senior leaders like Ghulam Nabi Azad, there's Nishikant Dubey, there's Asaduddin Owaisi, then there is Harsh Shringla. I think one of the most important parts of this messaging is the unity. Now, in India, we have seen this unity. Everybody across the political spectrum, across society has stood up for Bharat's interest. Right. And that's the spirit with which we are all going out. We are all going out there as Indians, first and foremost, right, rather than as from the government or the opposition. So I think this will have a tremendous impact.
That's very nicely said. Also, Mr. Panda, talking about perspectives and narratives, Bilawal Bhutto is also going to lead delegations from the Pakistani side. Do you think that's going to make a difference when it comes to how the world sees Pakistan?
You know, I have interacted with many Pakistani leaders, including former prime ministers. I've never interacted with Bilawal Bhutto. He's a young man. Recently, some of his videos have been doing the rounds. The speech that he made in the Pakistan National Assembly was quite childish. I think even Pakistanis are poking fun at it. But there's another video of him dancing that's also gone viral, and I think he's better at that. And that's probably something that he should concentrate on rather than take the message out. Because, you know, he's a man, just apart from having studied in England, he's not able to articulate the same system that killed his mother. He's not able to speak out about it. What is he going to say when people ask him that you have a track record in Pakistan? You sheltered Osama bin Laden. You are today openly sheltering UN-sanctioned terrorists. Now, so, you know, I think he should stick to dancing.
So, Mr. Panda, also when it comes to Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, they've shared a symbiotic relationship in the past. Of course, that changed in the last few years. Saudi Arabia's position on Kashmir has also really evolved, and it seems to be giving a kind of a setback to Pakistan. How do you expect your delegation to strengthen India's case with respect to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and also generally with regard to Pakistan with this tour?
Saudi Arabia is undergoing a major transformation. With the leadership of His Excellency Mohammed bin Salman, you can see the transformation that Saudi Arabia is experiencing. At the same time, you know, one of the biggest successes, I would say, that our Prime Minister Modi has achieved. On the foreign policy front, there are many. But look at the outreach to the Middle East. Look at the friendships he has built with Saudi Arabia, with the other nations in the Middle East, many of whom have awarded him their highest civilian honors. The attitude towards India has dramatically changed. And you know, what used to be the case with Europe and other nations has now also become very similar with the Middle East. They all see India as the future. They all see India with high potential. They all have a vested interest in India succeeding, and they see Pakistan as a problem. Not just because of the nuclear blackmail and the terrorism. If you look at the, if you look at the news about the problems that they face with some of the visitors during Hajj to Mecca, most of them are Pakistani, you know, involved in begging and robberies and things like that. So they have an issue with that country. You know, we want Pakistan to succeed. Modi ji himself has, you know, right from the beginning tried to reach out and said, let's jointly fight against poverty. In my interaction with Pakistan, there are many political leaders, business leaders, academicians, civil society who want this peace. But obviously that country is controlled by the army and it has a totally different set of incentives. It's a very challenging situation.
One of my last questions on Saudi Arabia before I come to other parts. Saudi Arabia also holds an important influential voice when it comes to OIC, which is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and 57 countries, you know, largest to, you know, next only to UN. When it comes to our outreach to Muslim countries, do you think this delegation, this tour will also strengthen India's approach?
Without a doubt. You see, this has also been changing. The OIC has had a track record going back many decades, and we know what it is. But the transformation that is happening, because especially I think of Prime Minister Modi's outreach and the rapport that he has built with some of these most important leaders around the world, including in the Middle East, including Saudi Arabia and other countries, is having this transformative effect. Now, look at our delegation. As I mentioned, we have some of the most senior leaders. Ghulam Nabi Azad ji has been a cabinet minister for decades. He was chief minister of Jammu and Kashmir. He was friends with Yasser Arafat, one of the most famous Muslim leaders of modern times. The credibility that carries. Asaduddin Owaisi is a very independent voice. When he speaks for India, it carries weight. All of us are going to speak in this one voice. So, you know, Pakistan cannot compete with that. They have decimated their minorities. You know, in these Middle Eastern countries today, there is a great deal of tolerance and acceptance. Hindu temples are being built. And in Pakistan, you've seen the ancient Hindu traditions all crushed. Temples destroyed, the population decimated, not just Hindus, Christians, other minorities, Sikhs. So, that if you look at the attitude of these countries, the Indian diaspora is valued. And that's not necessarily the case with Pakistan. We may have shared a common origin at some point, but their culture has changed so much. Their societal behavior patterns have changed so much. So I think we do have tremendous leverage that we probably did not have a few decades earlier or a few years earlier.
Right. Mr. Panda, there's also a feeling that the way countries like China or Azerbaijan or Turkey supported Pakistan, India also needs friends to come out and speak so strongly in favor of Indian diplomacy. Do you think this exercise will also help in that regard?
Now, let's take this in context. There was a time when Pakistan used to get the support of many, many, many more countries. Today, really only 2 countries openly came out and supported, maybe with arms or armaments. But several of Pakistan's so-called closest friends this time did not support them. And at best might have given a statement or two slightly sympathetic to their plight. So the ground realities have changed for Pakistan. Remember a few years ago when our foreign policy was specifically aimed at exposing Pakistan and isolating it. Some people used to make fun saying you can't isolate Pakistan, but it has been isolated. You've seen this. The support that India has received and the support that Pakistan has received, there's a heaven and hell difference in that today. Look, Pakistan has a track record. And many of these countries have suffered from Pakistan's, bad behavior over the years. We have a track record, and especially our track record in recent years is not just as a good actor, but as a successful leading country with one of the global engines, economic engines today is India. We have had the fastest growing economy now for many years. We are already at number 5. We are very soon going to be at number 3. And no country wants to ignore that.
My last question to you, sir. This exercise saw India's political class coming together, but there are some parties like the Congress Party, TMC, who also suggested, who in fact said that they're also complaining that the government should have reached out to the parties before actually finalizing the names. How do you see such responses at a time like this?
I won't comment on their responses, but I will say that these delegations that are going out are very broad-based. Most of the important political parties, both in opposition as well, are represented. And I want to emphasize one thing. We are not going out here as parties. We are going out here as Indians, first and foremost. There should be and there isn't, there should not be and there isn't any party politics in representing India to the rest of the world. And I think all of these people are senior people. I don't think they need a stamp of approval from any authority to either explain their clout or to justify their Indianness. So, we have every religion represented, every region represented, almost every political party represented. We have several very important women leaders on these delegations, including in mine. So I think we should focus on that. This is a unity that India is demonstrating. We are not just the largest democracy. We are the largest democracy in history ever that has existed. And for us to have such unity and demonstrate it to the world is a very powerful message.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Panda, for speaking to NDTV. Jay Panda there, party's National Vice President, also party MP, leading one of those important delegations to Saudi Arabia and other countries in West Asia, talking about the significance of this diplomatic outreach. He says that India's story is going to be told more forcefully than ever before. With camera person Sachin, this is Vasudha Venugopal for NDTV.